Hey everybody, and welcome to a Tatter-a-fact in Las Vegas at the Girlz Ink studio. And today, hey, I got Michon back.
I'm back. You missed me. I know you did.
You say that every time you come on Tatter-a-fact.
That's because they missed me.
That's like that's your opening line.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, so we have a lot to talk about today.
We do.
Yeah. So first I want to, I just want to acknowledge it up front, before, because I know anybody that watches us on YouTube, of course, we film this and they can go to our Tatter-a-fact YouTube channel and watch us and see what we look like, what we're dressed like.
What our faces look like.
Yeah. Or they can stream us.
Yeah.
On Spotify, BuzzFeed, Podcast Addict, and iTunes. Most people are streaming us, but we do have some diehards that definitely like to watch us on YouTube. So for those watching us,
this is for you.
Yeah. So I'm a little extra today, because
super extra.
I'm super extra. Yeah, because you did my eyebrows and my full lip.
Yeah, she's still a little swollen, as you guys can see.
Yeah, on Tuesday. On Tuesday. It was only like 4 days ago.
Yeah, she's a little scabby. Stop licking your lips.
I know. Well, I can't help it. I've had my brows done several times over the last 20 years. It's how I got into PMU. I went to a PMU artist and she did not do a good job. Like, she fucked up one of my arches. And I kept pointing. I was one of those clients that kept pointing it out, like, this arch is like not as high, and she couldn't get it. I think she just kept like redoing the same damn spot. And finally I'm like, can I just do it? And she handed me her machine, and that's no bullshit. That's not a lie. And I took her machine and I did my own arch.
Is that why you have so much scar tissue?
That could be. That could have been the start of,
scar tissue
building up. But it was like that moment. And my mom was, there for me. She was at that appointment with me for like, emotional support because, you're getting your eyebrows tattooed for the first time. I'd never even heard of it, really. And so I did it. I did that. And then, driving home, my mom was just like, you should do that. And I'm like, you think? And then it's just, from there, that's how I ended up in PMU, to be honest. So I'm really glad, like, she fucked up my arch because,
I wouldn't be where I am
I
today.
might not be where I am today. But anyway, I've never done my full lip. I did do my own lip liner, I think twice, like maybe like 17 years ago, something like that, when lip liner was like a thing.
So I've heard a lot of artists do that. Do you recommend that they do their own stuff?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's like old school. It's like I don't know.
I feel like you can't get the proper stretch to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I recommend it per se, but
I don't know, that scares the shit out of me.
yeah. And well, the only reason I did back then, it was, it's like, who was I going to go to? Who was going to do it?
Not me.
It was really...
I wasn't there yet.
You weren't there yet. Amber wasn't there yet, So, and I think a lot of us did back then. I know some artists still do. I see them post that they did their own brows or, whatnot. I did my own bottom eyeliner, for Christ's sakes. Yeah, I did. The only thing I couldn't do was my top eyeliner. And I never did my full lips. You just did my full lip.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But you were nervous. I
was like...
you were all sweaty.
I was sweaty.
You were sweaty.
Inside I was shitting myself.
I know. I told you two things with my lips.
Don't fuck up.
And?
Don't fuck up.
I'm not a lipstick lesbian.
Oh, and so, as natural as I can get.
Yeah, watch it with the color. I'm more of a chapstick lesbian, not a lipstick lesbian. So watch it with the color. Don't make, I don't want to use like bright pink or bright red lips. But I think the color is like doing good. But I was nervous too because I thought it was going to like hurt like hell. I was really nervous to get the full lip tattooed. And
I was delicate with you.
Yeah, and But it really didn't. And we used Frost as a pre-numb, and we used Feel Better Now for the during. And I have to tell you, I mean, honest to God, I think within like 2, 3, 4 minutes, my whole body just relaxed. I'm like, okay, this is going to be okay. It didn't, my brows hurt more than the lip hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the healing process.
Oh, healing process for the lips is horrible.
It's a drag, man.
I hate it.
I hate it too. It's a drag. So here I am, day 4, and I've got this big.
You're so cute.
I know. It's like, well, they're still swollen,
Yeah.
you know, and I got one.
You got some flappers.
I got some flappers. So I took a little bit of Aquaphor this morning. And I lifted up the flap because one side of it is still connected to the lip.
Yeah, that will do you.
Yeah, I put a little Aquaphor down and then laid the scab down and kind of like pasted it down and secured it. And so, but my lips are all scabby and they just feel like really super sunburned, chapped and tight. And maybe the worst thing for me is, you know, it's drinking coffee through a straw.
I mean, I forgot to drink a coffee through my straw this morning. I was busy though. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. It sucks rocks, man.
I want to do it just
I don't like it at all.
What you're talking about.
Well, the minute you do it, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Like, this is a whole thing with coffee. Like,
I'll take a picture and everything for you.
Yeah, like you pick up the mug and you bring the mug, you know, to your lips and you just sip the coffee.
You get the aroma.
You get the aroma and it's just this whole thing. And it's like, it's like
so it's not that it tastes different.
No, it tastes different.
You just miss the whole affectation
I think it really does taste different going through a straw. I just don't think coffee's meant to be sipped through a straw. It's just not.
Unless it's iced.
Unless it's iced.
Okay.
Which I don't like iced coffee at all.
Because you're from
Maine.
From Maine.
Yeah. But I don't know. Stephanie drinks iced coffee and she's from Massachusetts. So I don't know.
That's a different part.
That is a different part. But yeah, so and I felt like a typical client because because you did my brows first and you did my lips. And I got home that night and I'm like, oh my.
Don't worry, guys. She was sweaty too.
I was. But I was looking in the mirror. I'm like, oh, holy hell. You know, I just look like I'm hideous. I look like hell. And the next day, my brows, they just welted up, especially my right one. It got so swollen. And I was sure you came out of the original design and you made it thicker and you made it round I was just so sure. And Kat's like, get out of the magnifying mirror.
Oh, that's like your worst enemy. Don't look in there.
Yeah. But I would imagine that's what a lot of our clients do, right?
That's what I tell them. I tell them, just trust the process. I know you're going to be crazy and you're not, I'm going to tell you this. And as soon as you get home, you're going to start freaking out and thinking that you made a mistake, but just trust the process.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to dig deep. Yeah.
Kat told me.
Yeah. I had to dig deep and trust the process. And I've been like doing this for 21 years. I've how many clients, thousands of times have I had to give that speech to? And here I am. I go home and I trust you immensely. And I'm in the mirror and I'm freaking out. I didn't even come to work for 2 days. I worked at home because I'm like, Wednesday, I'm like, I am so not going in, but I think I warned you guys. I don't think I'm going to be in. I just look way too extra to be coming in. But I planned on coming in on Thursday. Mm-hmm. I got up and Wednesday, I didn't even work that much. I was going to work on my academy and get like all this content.
But your forehead was just too big and couldn't.
My forehead was too big. My lips were throbbing. My brows were throbbing. And I think I got a little depressed. I think I was just depressed.
I depressed you.
I think I was just depressed. I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God. And my face is on fire. And I watched I just watched Netflix and I was just like depressed. I was just not good that day. I was like all mopey and I just felt like shit. But I was going to come in on Thursday. I woke up on Thursday. I was in a great mood. And then I go in the mirror and I went, oh, holy hell. It's like, oh my God, my brow was worse. So I told Kat, I am just not going in. I know Olivia and Tara. I know Tara and Olivia. I know my girls. They're going to totally. And
Oh, we're going to make fun of you all
well,
day.
they did today, setting
All
up the podcast.
day.
Will and Olivia. I mean, I said, you got to stop. I'm going to pee myself. I mean, Olivia's like, she's
Can't
busting a gut.
concentrate.
She can't even look at me. I mean, you guys can't even look at me seriously.
That's hilarious.
I know, right? So this is,
Mind you guys, I have my eyebrows tattooed too. So they're
Yeah.
super dark.
yeah, Amber did yours the
Yeah.
day before.
Yeah, I had mine.
So you're a day ahead of me. So, yeah, but I wasn't depressed day 2
Well, that's
and
good.
sad and mopey and like lethargic. So I did like work all day, like 10 hours, and just pounded out a ton of content and was super productive. And then I came in yesterday. And yeah.
They
and
look
today-
good.
Well,
Everything's coming down.
they're going
now.
to look good.
They look good.
They're going to look good. A lot of the swelling has come down.
Yeah.
And
You don't look as crazy now.
yeah, it doesn't look so crazy. But so yesterday we had to have the plumber come by, and he's always just seen me, regular, and usually on our days off when I need a plumber, it's on my day off so I
Yeah.
can be there. It was so funny. He pulls up yesterday and he gets out of the door and he looks at me. He's like, oh, you look good today. And I'm like, oh my God.
Spruced up just for me.
He's like, oh, you put makeup on for work today. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I didn't want to get into it. I'm like, hopeless. Like when I go to Cat, my plumber's checking me out. He thinks I look a little extra today.
He thinks I'm a lipstick lesbian
Yeah,
today.
yeah. It was so funny to see his eyes like in shock. So the compliment could have been a cover for like absolute
Shock and
shock.
Terrified.
Shock and terror. Yeah, on the way I'm looking. But it's okay. So yeah, so we can get really, upset with clients. I know some clients go home and they text us like because they're afraid. They think their brows, are too thick. How many times do we get that? We tell them to trust the process, but then we end up getting these texts or these emails. I think it's too dark. I think it's too thick.
I just tell them, I'm like, I don't want to hear from you unless it's 2 weeks later.
Yeah. Well, that's
because
my
I know
line.
you're going to freak out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I tell them. I extended it. It's not 2 weeks anymore. Now it's
No?
4 weeks.
Oh.
No. So I tell my clients, look, you're going to go home. Now what I'm going to tell my clients is you're going to go home and you're going to do exactly what I did last week. And you're going to look in the mirror and, blah, 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 blah. And, but do not message me for 4 weeks. Yeah.
And
Just
don't pick at anything.
don't pick at anything. Yeah.
And no, I didn't make anything bigger or go out of the design.
Because it's really interesting the way my brows kind of warped and morphed into this thicker, rounder kind of shape when that's not what you tattooed. It's not what you look like the day I did it. But the next, like overnight, they morphed into this like hideous, goofy,
This ugly shape.
ugly shape. Yeah. 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 So I thought it was really, really interesting. And I think it's good for us to go through these procedures because I know there are PMU artists that have never had a PMU service. They've never had their brows, their lips, or their eyeliner done. So they don't really know what our clients go through.
That's always been a thing for me. I got everything tattooed on my face because I wanted to know exactly what my clients felt. Mm-hmm. So that way there was no what ifs. I could tell them exactly what was going to happen, how it was going to happen. And all my clients, they say, you told me to a T what happened. I'm like,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, we have that on our aftercare form, like brows, eyeliner, lips, all separated. And then we tell them day 1, this is what to expect. Day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7.
Yeah, but do you think they're really reading all that?
I tell them to read that, but who knows? Because we get a lot of questions, after the fact, and that information is right on their aftercare. I think the more mature, the older client,
They know.
tends to read it, go home and read it in full. And I think maybe it's the younger clients that, maybe they're not reading it or some of them don't read it, you know, as well or as thorough as they should. But yeah, so probably for the next couple weeks, I'm probably going to be a little bit more sympathetic to my clients, like a little bit careful when I wipe, and you know, nicer. I might be a little bit more because you know I'm not a very nurturing artist. I'm kind of like, well,
I'm not nurturing.
I know you're not nurturing. I think you're meaner than I am. And you're not mean, but you're just like, buck up. What the hell do you expect? I'm booked me.
I'm
booked your
tattooing
eyelids.
you. I'm tattooing your face. What did you expect?
Yeah. Well, we kind of have the philosophy here in Girlz Ink. It's like if you bruise, you swell, you bleed, it hurts. It's not that we don't care. We care. We're sorry you're going through that. You know, I feel you, but you paid me a lot of money to heal, to get this done, to heal with beautiful black eyeliner, if that's what they asked for, or, you know, beautiful, you know, pink lips or mauve lips, whatever. And we want to make sure first session you heal with a lot of color, great color. And if a follow-up is needed, it's, you know, it's a minor touch-up, minor.
Or not one at all.
Or not one at all, which is about 50% of our work, if not more.
Yep.
So yeah, so we just have that philosophy. I mean, we're like pretty badass PMU tattooers in here.
Well, I always tell my clients, it's gonna suck. The first pass is gonna suck. It is what it is. But as soon as after that, it's gonna be easy peasy. And the faster I get in, the faster I get out. And the more comfortable you are.
Yeah. No, it's definitely true. But I can see why clients get in the mirror and stare at it. I can see why they're tempted to pick. I did not pick, by the way, just so you know.
Not.
I know.
I'll know.
I know you'll know. And I have not. I would not. But I can totally see why. I can see why it happens. I can just, you know, I can see why it happens. Why they're tempted, and why maybe they go through some mental or, you know, some anxiety.
It's real those body first few dysmorphia.
Days. Yeah, exactly. But it's temporary body.
Yeah, it'll go away. It'll be fine. Body dysmorphia. Yeah, it's temporary. But so on my lips, so on my brows, you did not use a single. I know you love the single, but used Nate shader. Yeah, and my skin cooperated pretty well this time. It did better than the last time.
Yeah. And on my lips,
your lips did good.
Yeah,
you bruised a little bit, but I used a 3-round liner.
3-round liner.
Yeah, and we did like a lip blush, something really, really soft.
Yeah, I almost told you, no, don't use a 3-round liner, because I thought it was going to take you like 4 hours.
I was like, I did pretty good. I was afraid early.
Yeah, you know, you did. I was afraid of the 3-round liner on my lips, so I almost said, no, put a big, you know, mag in there, a big like 18 shader.
I'm like,
get her
I'm
done.
not tattooing you with a mag.
No,
I'll tattoo you with the 18 shader.
You don't like mags.
No,
you never liked mags.
I think it's because I shake. When I shake, I make cool spots.
Yeah, Amber took to the mag pretty quickly. She still does lips.
She does them with a shader now.
Oh, she does do a shader? Mm-hmm. No, so she did. Well, you know, switching it up. All right. But you never took to. But first she did take to the mag.
Yeah,
she used mags for a long time, and she liked them. But yeah, you never liked them. You never got quite used to them. You never felt like that was
comfortable.
You never
with
felt
them.
comfortable with them.
I always thought that because I have a tremor that, for some reason, I couldn't not rock the needle.
Yeah. Right. And rocking the needle can cause excess skin trauma or dark spots when it comes to the straight edge mag. Now, if you rock the needle on a curved mag,
I'd probably be okay.
Yeah, you'd be okay because it's got those rounded corners.
But then I'm going to have to work extra hard to get to those, to the edge.
Yeah, the thing about, I use a rounded mag on all my areolas because I'm not trying to do a precise edge right up to a line, like a lip line.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
Doesn't have to be perfect. You want it perfectly imperfect, actually, like an areola. But on lips, you know, the curved mag, you lose a little precision because it has rounded corners. So it's a little bit hard to be precise. You can do it, but it takes a little bit more work. It's a little bit harder to get right up to the edge with like absolute precision. It takes more practice. And on the flip side, with the straight edge mag, it's got those. It's a straight mag. Mm-hmm. The needles are the same height all the way across, which it does give it sharp corners, but it also makes it super precise. So that I think makes it a more advanced mag. You know, more can go wrong. It's less forgiving.
I'll use a mag on your arm.
Yeah, on my arm. Yeah, for the removal that I want you to do. Yeah.
I'll test it out there.
So that's the thing between those two bags. Straight edge is more more precise, but less forgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'll stick with the 18 shader.
Yeah, 18 shader's good too. So yeah, I mean, if you prefer a big needle on lips, but the mags ain't your thing, 14, 18 round shaders are like fantastic if you like a round configuration. I totally couldn't imagine doing lips in a single. I mean, I know I got friends that do, and it's just holy moly.
It wasn't that bad.
Well,
you didn't bleed too
You did
much.
a 3. You didn't do quite a single.
I didn't do a single because I wanted more pigment.
Yeah.
I figured it would take me longer if I did a single needle, and I wasn't about to sit there all day. So I was like, 3 round liner, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. Well,
one more. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, well, I was watching video last night because Olivia filmed you tattooing me.
Okay.
And some of it was just hideous. I looked hideous.
I heard you had some bad angles.
I had some bad angles.
But I looked great.
You looked great. There was a couple of pictures of you tattooing me, and you look all intense, and it was a good angle of me, and I'm like, oh, it's like so, like that's going in my keepsake. You know, I mean, that picture's gonna like mean a lot to me one day, I think, because it was you know what I mean? And so it's just this great shot of you like tattooing me, and I love it. You know, because we have that relationship and that dynamic. So it was cute. I showed Kat, and it was like super awesome. So I saved off a couple pictures, but I was watching some video of you tattooing me, and it's like, oh my God. It was like, it's kind of weird to watch. I mean, we tattoo each other tattooing in here all the time for reels and like TikTok and everything. But when you are the one being tattooed, it's hysterical. It's different.
Yeah.
It's hysterical. And you could see right up my nose.
I can see everything.
You could see my nose ring stud.
Yeah.
Like through my nose.
I can see it all.
Yeah. Well, and it got all captured on video. All of it got captured on video.
We'll put it somewhere out there.
Yeah. So it's like, oh my holy moly. Yeah. So it was kind of interesting watching, but I could see my lips bruise as you moved across them, like you were chasing bruising. I'm like, oh my God, you could totally see that bruising.
But the bruising, like after you sat for a while, it kind of dissipated.
It did kind of calm down a little bit.
But I mean, I was using Skinful Pigment Seal
to
kind of calm it down.
Yeah, Pigment Seal is like awesome for calming down skin. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm super happy. I can't wait till they're all healed. And, you know, my friends, you know, because I got like this group of lesbian friends, and, you know, and so my friend, she's like, why do you want your lips? I'm like, well, because I want to be a pretty tomboy. You know, it's like, I think, you know, for some lesbians, I mean, they don't, you know, they don't want to look feminine at all. Like they would never get caught dead with like lipstick or any lip color or makeup. And
I'm like, it's natural. It just gives you a little pop.
And I think I'm a little bit different. I mean, I dress in boy clothes. I have my whole life. You know, I wore my brother's underwear, you know, from the time I was like 8 years on, and
what
ties.
I call you? I called you like a tomboy, lipstick lesbian mix.
Yeah, like a Tommy girl or something. So, you know, I like boy clothes and dressing like a guy. Like I don't like girl clothes, but when it comes to my face,
you don't want to look like a man either.
I want to be pretty. Yeah. You know, I want my lips a little fuller and plump and pretty in color. I want my eyes to pop. I want pretty eyebrows.
Oh, they're plump.
Yeah, I'm a hybrid. How's that?
Okay, I'll take it.
I'm a hybrid, right? Oh, I just like banged my.
Watch those.
My scabby lips on my microphone.
Your lips are so big you don't know how close you are.
Well, that's it. My lips are entering the building before me these days.
At least it's not your eyebrows anymore.
I know. Yeah, it's like, my God. And I have to go out tonight.
Oh.
I'm going to Area 51.
Don't take any pictures.
And I'm going to the Van Gogh experience.
At least it's dark in there.
Yeah, but then we're doing dinner afterwards.
Oh. Where are you going to dinner?
Yeah, I can't remember. Kat made the reservations. So I have to go out tonight. I know.
Well, I mean, you can't put any makeup on.
No, I can't put no makeup on. It
You
does.
can put some mascara on. Maybe.
I put mascara on for today.
Yeah, okay.
Can't you tell? All right. Can't tell because all you focus on is my fucking eyebrows and lips,
I
right?
can't look at anything else.
I know. No one can. It's all right. It's all right. I told Olivia, you know what I told Olivia? Your eyebrows are gonna.
Oh yeah, I told her you're not allowed to touch her.
Oh no! I told her your brows will
can't touch her.
fade. They'll be fading.
She'll be calling
And
me.
and guess who's gonna touch them up?
Me.
Oh no,
You
me.
can't touch her.
Me. I'm gonna touch them up.
Those are mine.
Yeah, because she can't even look at me. She can't even make eye contact with me
She
without.
can, but she's gonna laugh.
Well,
We're all doing.
yeah,
this
to the
you.
point she almost dropped to the floor, like when we were setting up our mics. Like I said, can you give me a complex, Olivia? I mean, I have to go on camera in just a minute to do this podcast. And you give me such a complex. It's like,
But it's all gonna go away. It's not real.
well, it's real in the moment.
It's okay. You'll
You
be
know,
fine.
I look in the mirror. It's like that shit's there right now. Okay, so enough about me and. Yeah. So let's talk about your new course.
Let's talk about.
All right. So we got the Girlz Ink Online Academy. We've got lots of great online courses on there. And, I have my courses. Amber had her courses, and, some of my besties, Mary and Na, got their courses. And, where's Michon? Where's her course?
Hanging out.
Yeah. So I asked you, I wanted you to have a course on there because you're really, really, really good at eyebrow design, right? You got really, really good at eyebrow design and you went through your journey with it. And I want a mapping design on the Academy. I think that is what I remember. Shay Daniels, you were right in the middle of building your course. This was maybe 3-4 months ago. Mm-hmm. And she put a post out on what do you struggle with most in your PMU work? And do you know what? It was mapping. It was mapping design.
I hear that from artists all the time.
Yeah. And I didn't really expect that. I thought it was going to be like my depth or saturation. I thought it was going to be something with the actual tattooing, but it was mapping. And I came in, I saw you, and I told you all about it. I'm like, you need to get your ass, you need to get your ass going. I'm going to light a fire in your ass. You need to figure this course because it took you like a long time.
It took me 2 years, guys.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years to get this course.
Mind you, let's just put this in perspective.
Okay,
though.
what's perspective?
I don't really know how to use a computer, or I didn't know how to use a computer.
Right.
I've never worked on PowerPoint. I've never done any of that. I was using Paint for PowerPoint because I didn't know that you could do the same thing on PowerPoint as you can do with Paint. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I never even heard of Paint. When I found out like you were doing your PowerPoint on Paint, I think maybe Amber like threw you under the bus. She goes, she's doing her PowerPoint on Paint. I'm like, Paint? What the fuck is Paint? I thought all there was PowerPoint. I didn't know there was any other like app, or it's not an app, but any other program.
You were like, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to hold your hand. You got to figure it out. I was like, I'll figure it out.
Not for PowerPoint, but for the content. I mean, yeah. So once we got you squared away on PowerPoint,
I finally figured out some things, guys.
Yes, and things started moving again, But I think, you discovered what everybody has discovered, and is that building a course, an online course, okay, I'm going to hold that thought because I don't want to get distracted, but building an online course that is worthy, I mean, damn good all the way through.
And not boring.
Yeah. It is. It takes a lot of work, a lot of focus, a lot of concentration, a lot of time alone. And it is hard. It is hard.
Especially when all the electronics break on me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even when everything doesn't break and it's working properly, it's hard because I've built, a handful of courses now. And it's really hard because everybody learns differently. And I have a standard for the online academy, right? That's why it took me 3 years to even get the first, to get it launched because I just had this standard of what I wanted. And the videos have to be like super high quality and clear, good angles, no shadows. I mean, these videos, and I don't like montage videos, like when you get to a certain second and they just fast forward through it, like they montage it, or that it's like highly edited. You know, if there was bruising, I wanted
I want to see it.
the viewer to experience the bruising. If we couldn't get an eyebrow to stop bleeding, I wanted that experience for the viewer, you know, the student. I wanted it to be real time, a real experience with what's realistic. And besides video, you got to have written content, because some people learn by watching video and listening to us speak and talk through theory and watching. And some people, they retain more by reading content. So I think it needed to be a great combination of written content, video, PDFs, checklists, handouts, PowerPoint, and you got to have some humor thrown in there. You can't be too dry, or it's, you know, it gets really fucking boring. So you got to have like a little bit of a sense of humor, but not too much, right? So yeah, and I think your course finally after 2 years, I think your course is fantastic. So I've been flipping through all of it the last like 4 or 5 nights. And it's really good. You should be proud of yourself. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, I finally finished it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, yeah. I can finally breathe a little.
Yeah. And when you watch it back, are you like 100% satisfied?
Yeah, I'm satisfied. I'm really satisfied with it now, but I feel like I'm going to get further in my career, watch it and be like, no, more.
Yeah. Yeah. and I'm doing that with my lift course and my powder brow course. Yeah. Right. And it's like every 3-4 months, I will go on my lift course or my powder brow course or the needles, and I will read it. I'll watch it, and I'm like, why didn't I, I'm missing something. Mm-hmm. You feel like you're missing something. I could have added that. I need a new video demonstrating it this way, or you think of a new analogy. So I think, it's important to keep refreshing your course so it doesn't get old. Like, you don't want your course to be 3 years old and it's never been looked at with, your eyes, your fresh eyes and new content, added, because courses can get old and stale. You want to keep it relevant and you want to keep it fresh. Yeah. So I think that's important. And we definitely do that on our academy. So yeah, I'm proud of you. I didn't know if you would ever do it. I mean, I know I was hounding you for a while, and then I was like, I'm just going to fucking like...
If I leave her alone,
I'm going to leave her alone. Yeah. And then like one day I think, you know what? I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it. And I'm going to launch it, and it's going to piss you off. But once you got your wedding under your belt and got that behind you, you dug in.
Yeah.
And you got her done.
I told you I was going to finish it.
Yeah. And I think everybody's going to like it, and like it a lot. And like I said, it's all on mapping. And again, it's the mapping, it's the design that a lot of people struggle with. And you did, not maybe to the length of some people. Mm-hmm. I don't recall you having like big, huge, major struggles with your design. I just remember you being slow. Amber was slower though. Mm-hmm. Remember, I had to go put a timer in her room, set the timer one day. Yeah, with a big old the timer went off like a big old bell. So you were faster than Amber, but you were still slow.
Yeah, I wanted to try everything and anything I could to make myself faster, get a better design. Just because the faster, you want your clients to be numbed by the time you get there. You're taking 2 hours, an hour to draw. They're not numb anymore.
Right.
And you just want to get it on there as easy as possible.
Yeah. And we got Amy right now who's taking an hour, sometimes longer.
Not anymore.
To draw. Yeah. So we've kind of been on her ass lately. Yeah. So, but that's what we do. That's what we do here. We
got to light a fire under your ass.
Yeah. We got to get them over these little challenges and these obstacles and, roadblocks that every artist comes up against. And at least they're in a safe, a studio that's safe. We love them. We care for them. And when we see them struggling, we address it and we get them over it, get them through it, hopefully. But so in your course, you go over using the brow ruler, which is super popular. A lot of people love the ruler. Love the brow ruler. You go over the mapping string, and you go over like with calipers. And then what? Freehand. Freehand. So, and you moved all through those methods. You've used all those methods.
Yeah, I used them all. Just try them out, see what works best, or, combine things, see if that works.
Yeah.
And now I've just gotten to a point where I like to put the ruler on the face. I freehand, and then when I'm done, I'll look at my measurements on the ruler, make sure it's, all aligned and symmetrical. And, the ruler for me, I feel like is more for my client than for myself. Because, you have those clients where they're like, oh, this one's longer. This one's higher. This one. I'm like, no, there's a ruler on there. You can measure that all by yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So they know it's symmetrical on their face.
Yeah. The ruler don't lie.
The ruler don't lie.
Yeah. So that's your more preferred method. Yeah. So you're more like me. You were I know you went through those things, but you ended up being not a very structured designer. I guess, because some people are very structured.
Yeah, they gotta have this or that everywhere it needs to.
Yeah, markings everywhere and lines and dots and this and that, and they use rulers and mapping string, which is totally okay. I've always had the philosophy like whatever it takes to get you to a beautiful symmetrical design. Who gives a shit? That's what it takes.
As long as you get there.
As long as you get there in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah. Right.
I don't even fill in the brow anymore. It's just an outline.
Yeah. And I started out freehanding and I've been mostly a freehander my whole life, meaning not using tools. But if I do need to use a tool, because sometimes when they don't have hair,
it's hard. It's harder.
It's harder, right, to find the balance and get them in alignment. So sometimes, on clients like that, I'll get the ruler out, because it will get me where I need to be quicker. But if they have hair, I typically don't get the ruler out. I can just kind of use their hair, freehand it and whatnot. But sometimes I struggle. Sometimes I'll get them like perfect, but when I step back and look, there's something bothering me about this brow. I can tell something's a little off. I can't pinpoint it. I'll put the ruler on, and by putting that ruler on, it pinpoints where you're off a little bit.
Yeah, what I like to do is I'll look at my client and I know I'm off, but then I like to ask the girls, I'm like, why am I off? How am I off?
Yeah.
What do you see? So I can see if they see what I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's good too, because sometimes we stare at our brows. We're drawing on a client. We're staring at them for so long that you can't, I don't know if your eyes get tired, but it's good. Like I always told you girls in the beginning, if it's taken too long and you're not getting them right, you keep adjusting and there's something bothering them about you, leave the room. Excuse yourself. Go tinkle or go something. And that allows your eyes to refresh and then go back into the room like 3 to 5 minutes later, look at the brow, the design again. And it's almost like, okay, now you can see it because you refreshed your eyes. And I think that absolutely works.
It definitely does.
Yeah. So that's a good little tidbit in your course. You have a lot of good little tidbits. I think the videos are great. And there is no doubt. Look, anybody following you and is familiar with your work knows that your eyebrow designs are like on point, right? On point. And you're the artist that is not only doing Instagram brows. I mean, you do the Instagram brow, right? And what that is for people that don't know is that very structured,
like ombre brow.
Yeah, and it's perfect. Perfect. The bridge is very straight. It's a certain look. And we see that look a lot on Instagram. It looks great on the younger girls. Up to a certain age, I think it looks really good, that look. And it's a beautiful brow on many, many people. But you can't put that brow like on.
You can't put it on an 80-year-old. They're gonna look funny.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit like an older gal.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to custom design brows to fit all the different faces and as well as the different personalities.
I do have some of the older ladies ask for my ombre brows.
Do you?
I do.
But do you do them that structured?
Not as structured. They're a little bit different. They're a little bit drawn on different.
Yeah,
they're a little thinner. They're a little this
exactly.
And that.
You customize it, and I see that with your work. You customize, and so that, and I think as PMU artists, we have to be able to do that. Like if we're relying too much or 100% on drawing tools,
they're gonna get like the same thing every
single time. So it's good that PMU artists also develop that aesthetic eye, and that they can, maybe they're using rulers or mapping string and they get a structured brow on, but that doesn't quite fit that particular client or her personality. That's not what the client wants, maybe. And then they can take a Q-tip and pencil and reshape it a little bit and customize it to fit that particular client. I think that's important that we're able to do that.
Well, everybody's different. Everybody's face is different.
Yeah.
I mean, in my course, we go over the face shapes and all that sort of thing and what brows look good on different people. So yeah. Well,
that shape got really, really super trendy. It's still really trendy and really popular. And so when you have newbies come into the industry, they think, some of the conversations I've had is they think that's the standard.
Yeah.
And that's the only style brow they should be doing on everybody, and I've been asked about that, and they're just curious and they're asking questions. And I'm like, no, it's a beautiful style brow, great on lots of different people, but you can't have like this cookie cutter brow that you just draw and put on every single person. You have to be able to customize.
Yeah.
So I tell them, like, draw on your mom, draw on, sisters and friends. Practice freehanding, even though you may not freehand on a client. You're going to use, rulers and string and whatnot. Practice drawing on friends and family so you develop those freehanding skills. So
it's going to help you immensely in the long run.
Yeah, it's going to help you immensely. And I think it's going to give you some confidence, too.
Yes. Yes.
And your course goes beyond design.
Yes, it goes designing and how to lock it in.
Because once you draw the design on, we do a lot of classes here. Mm-hmm. And, I see it. And we were dealing this with Amy. This was one of Amy's big things to get over. She'd draw the brow on, and as she was tattooing, she'd wipe away her stencil.
Yeah, then she wouldn't get to her edges.
She wouldn't get to her edges. She had to keep
design.
Right. She had to keep sitting the client back up and redrawing. And I think it was through that period with Amy and you and I trying to get her through that is because I told her you can't keep doing that. You're losing your design. You're wiping ahead and you're losing your design. And I had her tattoo in the outline. Mm-hmm. And that's when it dawned on me, Michon, you need to add this to your course.
And I already do that for my ombre brows as well.
Anyway, so there is a little bit of tattooing. It's not strictly a design course. It's hyper focused on design and getting to that beautiful brow. But you added that chapter on once you draw it, locking it in, outlining that brow. So that design is set in the skin throughout the entire procedure. You don't have to worry about wiping anything off. It's just there. And I think people are going to totally dig that. I think some people are that's going to be their method. That's what they're going to do. They're going to draw it and they're going to lock it.
But I want you also to get past that too. So you don't always have to outline.
So you don't always have to outline because some skins,
they won't like it.
Right. We work on some skins that are ruddy, super red, ruddy, textured, large pores, oily. And the minute you try to outline it, bleed, bruise. I mean, so it's not a sure thing on every single client.
But then there's other things that I tell you in the course if you don't need to tattoo it.
That's right. You have lots of tips and tricks, I think, for every situation.
Yeah.
And if there's a situation that maybe a student comes across and there's not a nugget of advice from you or it hasn't been addressed, we want them to email us and let us know. Yeah, because we can always put it in. And sometimes the feedback from the students taking the course, I've taken lots of feedback from the students taking my powder brow course. You know, they'll just ask me a question. I'm like, ooh,
that's a good one.
That's a good one. I got to do a whole chapter on that. So it's good once students, I mean, you release the course as full as you think it needs to be, as detailed as you think it, you know, you're satisfied. And then once a bunch of students start taking it, they start asking questions, and then you'll start maybe adding a little here, adding it a little there, and making it even more detailed and more fuller based on student experience and student questions. Yeah. So I actually rely on the students' questions to
that would help a lot.
Finish it out. So maybe the course is 98% done, launched, and then as students take it, we start getting questions. We address the questions, and
it's a good thing I made all the apprentices look at it first. Then
yeah, we did. We had all the apprentices watch it because they're newbies. We thought if anybody's going to catch something that maybe you didn't address, it's going to be one of the apprentices that are newer.
Well, it's something that I might have talked to them about already, and in their training that I just forgot about and forgot to put into the course, which they did let me know some things. They're like, what about the things that you always teach us about this and that? Why didn't you put that in there? I was like, I didn't remember that.
Yeah. It takes a village, right? Totally took a village to get a course launch. But so when you start your next course?
Oh dear God. Give me a few months to rest, man.
Yeah. Give you a few months.
No, I still I got an idea on some stuff for you guys.
Well, I gave you a really good idea.
I know.
Don't say it out loud.
One too. I'm not going to say
it out loud. But your course, this podcast will air after your course launches.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so your course launches March 16th, Olivia?
15th.
Is it 15th or
16th? You guys
16th.
changed the day on me.
Yeah, March 16th it launches, and
now I gotta go message some people now.
Yeah, launches on the 16th, and we already posted about it on Instagram, and people are actually, Kat was just right before the podcast. Kat flips her phone and shows me, and I'm like, I can't see it from there. I go, what is that? I go, is this something bad? What is it? Because usually when she flips her phone, it was, it's usually, read this. It's like maybe a customer didn't get something in her order.
I know, she showed me, and she's like, I was like, what'd I do?
Yeah. But it was somebody emailing, when is Michon's mapping course launch?
Yeah, I was talking to Ari, and she's like, yeah, someone already called, wants to know right when it launches. And then someone emailed. I've had a few people hit me up on Instagram.
So how good does that make you feel?
It does. It makes me feel really great. I hope I'm very blunt and to the point. So I hope that the course is not boring for you guys.
I did put
a little fluff in there for you.
Yeah, I read it, and so I went through your entire course, and I go back, and I'm like, Michon, it's really, really good.
I'm boring,
but you need some fluff. And you're like, fluff? I'm like, it's a little dry, it's a little boring. You just need some fluff, some analogies. Talk about a couple experience. You need a little. You need a little
some filler.
I mean, so they can get to know you a little bit, because anyone that knows you loves you, and you are a little drier.
I was like, I'm a little dry.
You're a little dry, a little more straight to the point, a little blunt, and which is totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. But you're not. But around us, you're goofy and you're funny, more comical, and I think maybe we see really who you are in your whole awesomeness, rather maybe than when you're teaching, and that could still be maybe, because you're still kind of new to teaching, and
I'm good on one-on-one, guys.
Yeah, you're good on one-on-one, but we're doing some courses. Look, you and I are doing a hands-on brow course.
Yep, August.
In August, and it's going to be a course where we're going to teach them brows with an 8 shader and a single needle, circles, shoveling, and whip shading. We're combining that, and that's what we're going to teach them how to do, because I don't understand why the whole industry is not really working. More of the artists are not working that way. Yeah. So I'm excited for that course. Super excited. So yeah, so March 16th it launches. And,
I'm ready.
Yeah. So everybody listening, it'll be well launched by the time you hear this. So
Hope you guys like it.
Yeah, they will. But you can go to girlzinktraining.com. Michon Martinez, map it and lock it.
It's gonna be good.
Course. Yeah, I know. So thanks for sitting with me today.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I just can't stop looking at you.
I know. I know. I totally see you checking me out.
It's not checking you out. I'm checking out my work.
You're checking out your work. Oh God.
Don't.
I know.
It
it's hanging
up.
on by a thread. I got a big old scab on my lip, like a ½ inch in diameter, like hanging on by a thread, and you can't pull it.
No, you can't touch it.
No. Okay. I've talked about my scabs enough on this podcast, but but that's the thing is now you're never going to look at me the same.
No, I'm not going to look at you. I'm going to look at what I
No,
did.
because I've tattooed all my friends, not all my friends, but the friends I have tattooed. It's like for weeks and weeks and months after you tattoo, and when you go to dinner with them, you're just looking at your work. You're like eyeballing.
I think it's years. I still look at everybody that I've tattooed years ago. I'm like, oh, you need to touch it.
Yeah.
We got to go in there.
Yeah. It's the way it is. All right. Well, thanks for sitting with me.
You're welcome.
And hanging out with me. I love you.
I love you too.
All right.
With all your puffiness.
All right. So, hey, please, you guys, go check us out on YouTube. Even if you prefer streaming us on one of the streaming platforms, go check out our YouTube channel and give us a follow and like our podcast. Your likes and follows mean an awful lot to us. And we're going to start uploading some of these clips to our TikTok, right, Willow? Yes, we're going to start doing that. So picking out some really great little fun moments and and doing that. Bloopers maybe to our TikTok. So I appreciate it. So I want to leave you with this. I've been trying to leave them with a message, a positive message. And so my message I want to leave you with this episode is, it doesn't get easier. You get stronger. Think about that for a minute.
It's
right?
definitely true.
It is true. Things really don't get easier.
No,
we just
get better at handling them.
Yeah, we just get stronger, smarter, wiser, better. That's it. So keep that in mind. And stay in pursuit of happiness, everybody. And thank you for joining me. We will see you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.